So you've got an AppSheet app, and you've probably got users of that app. And sometimes those users go and enter the same information twice, and that results in you having to go back and clean up after them. Or maybe it's you that's the problem and you're the one entering the duplicates. I've been there too. Well, fortunately, AppSheet does provide a way to prevent duplicates, and that's what I'm going to cover in today's quick tip. Unfortunately, it's not the most straightforward thing to do. However, once you know the exact steps, it's pretty easy to repeat. And those steps are what I'm going to show you in this video. So I've got this customer table here, and what I want to do is disallow records with the same company name from being put in more than once. So you see that right now Dunder Mifflin is here, and if somebody went and added a new record and tried to put in Dunder Mifflin again, I want to show a message saying that that's not allowed. So the way that we can do that is first by editing the column, and then scrolling down to the data validity section, expanding that, and then we're going to provide an expression for valid if. And that expression should return true if the value is currently valid, meaning that the actual record can be saved, or we want to return false if it's invalid. And so what this expression is going to do is it's going to search the table for a value that matches what was just entered. And if a value exists, it's going to return false or no, saying that the record can't be edited. And if it does not exist, it's going to return yes, saying that the record can be edited. So just a quick plug for our AI assistant. If you do have it, you can just open it up and ask it specifically what you want. What's the valid if expression that I need to use in order to prevent a duplicate name for a customer? And it's going to come back in a second and actually give you the expression that you can just copy and paste in there. So that looks like this. I'm just going to copy that in, go back here, paste, and I'm all done. But if you don't have our AI assistant, this is the actual expression that you're going to need to enter. And these 5 values that I've underlined here are the values that you're going to need to update with your table name, the key for your table, the field that you want to check, or in other words, the field that you're checking validity against, and then again, the table key 2 more times. So those, you can update this expression with those values and then copy and paste that in just like we just did from what we copied from the AI assistant, and this expression should be what you need. So to talk about what this expression is doing at a very high level, it's checking to see if a record in the table already exists with the name that we just entered. That's this part. And second, it's if it does exist, it's checking to see if we're currently editing that record or creating a new record. So the reason that we need that is because for Dunder Mifflin, for example, if I went in and I hit edit in order to be able to edit that record and then tried to change something, it would see that it already existed, so it wouldn't allow me to actually edit it. So this second check here actually says if the record that we're trying to edit is the record that has that name currently, then actually allow it. So that's what this expression is doing. And then down at the bottom there, it's the count equals 0. It's basically looking at how many records it got returned. If there's no records, it means everything's good to go. So it will return true. If there were records returned from this query, it means that it's disallowed. So it'll return false and have that validity return false. So a little bit of a kind of mind bender to think about how this actually works, but that's what this expression is actually doing. I'm sure you don't want to retype all this, so I've pinned it down in the comments so you can copy it from there, make your changes for your specific table, and then paste it in your expression editor and you should be good to go. All right, so let's give this a try. First, let's try to edit the existing record just to make sure that second part that we just talked about, that it's allowing editing of the existing record to work. So I'm going to go and I'm going to hit edit, and I'm just going to call this Dunder Mifflin 2. I'm going to save. And you see it's good. It did let me edit it. So that works. I'll change it back again. And now that we've got that, the next thing I want to do is try to add another record with Dunder Mifflin. Okay, I'll try to save that. And you see that valid if expression is preventing another record from being created with that name. However, this entry is not valid or is invalid isn't really the most helpful message for your users. They're like, why isn't it valid? I don't really get it. So another thing you're probably going to want to do here is add a custom validation message to tell them what exactly the problem is. And you can do that by again going into, by clicking that pencil icon next to name, going down to data validity again, and entering an invalid value error. So we can say this company name already exists. please edit the existing company. A little bit more helpful error message. So I'm going to click done there, save. And now go back again and try to insert Dunder Mifflin and click save. We get that specific validation message, which is much better. And then the final thing we want to test is that we are able to still successfully create a new record when the name does not match. So let's try to put in a different name. Instead of Dunder Mifflin, we're going to put in Munder Difflin. So let's type that out here, Munder Difflin, and I click save. And you see that it did create that record, no problem. We now have Dunder Mifflin and Munder Difflin. So all good to go. This should work fine for most apps, but if you have many thousands of records within your table, you might start to see your app slow down when you're trying to save. And the reason for that is that expression is basically looking through every single record in that table to see if there's a match with the new record that was entered. And if you have multiple valid if expressions on multiple fields within a particular view, it's going to be doing that multiple times, which is going to slow it down even more. Again, that's probably not a problem for most people, but if you are running into that, let me know down in the comments and I can share some more ideas on how to handle your specific case. So that's how you can prevent duplicates in AppSheet. I hope that makes it a little bit more clear and I hope it helps with what you're working on. If so, be sure to subscribe to this channel where we provide all kinds of AppSheet tips just like this. That's all I got for today. Thanks for watching and happy building.